everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Hopefully, you're all doing absolutely fantastically. I hope you've had a very, very productive week. Your trading's gone well, and you're living a happy, healthy life. So, today, what I thought I would do would be kind of give a little update of what I'm going to be doing with the channel, how my trading's been this week, and do a little advanced self review, kind of live on video for everybody's sake. If you know me, then hopefully you can kind of get across the two things that I really kind of like to pride myself on is my honesty, to really be truthful with people. Not every week's going to be fantastic, and today was just this week was just one of those weeks where we didn't have the 26% that we had a couple of weeks ago. I actually ended this week in a slight loss, which I'm quite disappointed with. There's definitely things that I could have done better this week. I'm going to explain to you why my trading wasn't perfect this week, the kind of different situations that I have going on right now, why that's affected me, and kind of how I'm going to move past that, how I'm going to improve on that. So the other thing that I really like to work on is excellence. So making sure that what I'm doing is the best that I can be. There's going to be times where it's not perfect. We're human, we falter. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be losing days. There's going to be losing weeks. But it should all balance out as long as you're continuing to try and improve. I always say there's no reason to not learn something, and there's no reason to not want to improve something. Nobody complains about being too good at something. They complain about things being too hard. Okay, so the thing that I'd like to do here is to really kind of open up, be honest, go through everything that I go through for an advanced self-review at the end of the week, at the end of the trading session. It's particularly more important to do these when you don't feel like doing them. So I really just have had a really incredibly busy week, just outside of trading, everything else that's going on with my life, but I'm going to get into that in a second. And I'm also going to explain what we can do to improve those things, how we can adjust things in the future if this sort of thing happens again. And hopefully you'll take some information from this, and it'll be quite useful to everyone. So the first thing that I noticed this week is my mood has been fairly low. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'm very, very much a creature of habit, so I like to know when I'm getting up, what time I'm doing my analysis. I need to know when I'm having my coffee, when I'm having my shower. I like to have all this planned days in advance. That's just been completely unavoidable this week because I've had lots and lots of things to do. I've had lots of meetings. I'm currently in the process of finding and moving into a new house, so that's kind of the main thing that's taken up a lot of time. Me and my girlfriend have been going around doing loads and loads of house viewings, seeing where we actually want to move to. That comes at the same time that I give up the lease on my office. So I've been trading in an office for the last 6 months, and it's been fantastic. Solitary. I can just sit at the chart, I do my analysis, nobody bothers me, and I can kind of just get on with it. I can block the rest of the world out. It's been fantastic. I actually gave the lease up on that office because I was expecting to be moving into a different area, moving house. However, the house that we were going to buy was that kind of fell through, unfortunately. So we've had to kind of find somewhere else, and that's basically put us in between places. So I have had to move everything out of my office. I've had to move a lot of stuff back into my mum's house. I've got to set the computer up, which is just kind of bare bones. Things are in boxes, things are in everywhere. I don't have my desk, I don't have my supplements, I don't have all this stuff that I kind of use daily. So my whole routine changed because of that. I also had weddings to attend to at the weekend. I've had speeches to write. I've had all kinds of different things to do, one-to-ones and stuff going there as well. So mega busy week. Everything's all over the place. It's the uncertainty that I really don't like about it. If I had a busy week and I knew what time everything was happening, where everything was going, X, Y, Z, I could structure around that, I could plan around that, and it'd be no problem. Now, I'm not saying that my bad trading this week is entirely down to, I've just been kind of out of my routine. There's definitely things that I could have done better and could have improved on. But you kind of find that what I tend to find is it's not just one thing that kind of, I'm out of my routine and now I can't trade. It's a combination of things. It's a lot of different things. I'm taking up new sports. I go dancing. I go to chess club, and sometimes you just do take on too much, and I'm getting a little bit of mental fatigue now. The best that we can try and do is to improve our threshold before we start to feel that mental fatigue, but eventually it will catch up to us. So I feel like a little bit I started this channel at a bit of an inopportune time because I haven't had the time to dedicate to it that I would have liked to have done. There's way more that I wanted to do here. I released a short a little while ago saying that we were going to attempt to do the funded challenge. I haven't even logged into that account yet. I've just been trading my own account, and the reason for that is because I knew that I wasn't set up properly. I wanted to give that the best go that I could, and just kind of with everything going on, I didn't feel like it was the best time to start that. So that's kind of the first thing I noticed about the advanced self review. I always like to go down it in kind of like an emotional and mood state, my execution state, and then anything else that I want to put into the advanced self review. So my emotional state was already not the best this week, and I think it's very, very important to make a note of that. Do you trade horribly when you're in a bad mood? If you've had some bad news at the start of the week, it might be the best thing to do to just go back to a demo for that week. You don't have to risk losing money. Do you get given some bad news and all of a sudden you take revenge trades and now you're down 20 units in a week because you're angry trading? The only advantage that we have in the market right now over the hedge funds is we can choose when we want to trade. Okay, so if you're not in the position to trade, I recommend just stepping back. Just taking that step back doesn't mean that you're regressing 6 months in your trading. You might just need a couple of days, cool off, get a feel for the market again, and that's exactly what I did this week. The first day that I traded was actually on demo, and then I moved back to small live account using smaller lot sizes. So we ended up in a slight deficit this week, but it's not too bad. It's definitely doesn't cut into our profits that we made over the last few weeks anyway. So kind of the next thing, how I executed this week. The problem that I think I had this week was not taking stock of the higher time frame. Now, if you've seen me trade before, I'm just going to share my screen here so you can have a look at what I'm talking about. I put a lot of stock in our higher time frame confluences. Now we're in the 1 minute chart here. If you're a seasoned trader and you're experienced, you should know what your higher time frame candlesticks look like roughly based on what the 1 minute gives you. You know what the closes look like, you know what time they close. If we have this massive momentum candle down on the 1 minute, what does that look like for the 5 minute? Does this take out this level? Well, I know that there's going to be a high test in here somewhere. Yeah. So even though I'm showing you price action on the 1 minute, what I'm really looking at is the higher time frame, and I've drawn an arrow just to indicate the trend. Now, something that I noticed here very, very early on in my advanced self review is that I traded against the trend more times than I traded with the trend. This is obviously a terrible way of trading. You're kind of banking on outsmarting the market with that kind of approach, and yes, it is valid to do that. There is times that we will absolutely trade against the trend. However, I wasn't firing on all cylinders this week. There's been plenty of times this week where I haven't questioned trades per se, but I have less confidence in them as I otherwise maybe should have. They didn't maybe meet as many confluences. Now, going through all the different trades that I took this week, I'm just going to take the last 3 days of price action, and you're going to notice a very, very obvious trend here. And this is something that I'll take into next week, and I'm sure it's going to massively improve my trading. Now, you can see that we're in a downtrend here. The hourly is going to stay bearish. The 4 hour is going to be massively bearish. We're going to see that price is moving down. The two positions that we took today were both buy positions. Now, it's very easy to say like in a one-off circumstance. So without much research into this, okay, these could be anything. They could just be unlucky positions. However, you'll notice the trend of what's happening this week. So we see price come down, taps into our IDFP here. This is, if you're unfamiliar with the trading strategy, we trade with Black Capital strategy, which is a smart money system strategy, using liquidity based on using liquidity taken from institutional orders to basically give us a good bias of where price is going to react from the market. You can see we got this nice reaction here, and we see price, it looks like it's going to make another high. Now, this is a very, very bullish signal for me. We get a low test, and then we get a momentum candle, which looks like it's going to take out this high, so I entered my first position. It goes against me. The actual position and the result of this position isn't too important. I'm going to get into that in just a second. Same sort of thing. We have a nice big momentum candle up. We have low tests. Now, if we look on the 2 minute here, we had a fantastic low test here, which you should be able to tell by how these 1 minute candles form. If you can't understand, you probably have a little bit of practice with price action too, which is absolutely fine. I'm more than happy to make some videos on that if that's something that interests people in the future. But you can see, we got taken out with this position here, and then price ramped down. The main thing that you notice here, 2 buy positions when the market is looking bearish. This is like very, very basic things, things that I should have known better about. But I just wasn't thinking. I was just kind of trying to outsmart the market here, thinking, oh, we have break a structure higher, lower, bang. We'll trade against the trend because we're so overextended. We haven't retested this level. We haven't closed this imbalance that we've got slightly above us. However, simply put, the trend was bearish. We couldn't have been looking for buys. That's something that I did a lot this week, and it's something that I'm going to just reinforce into my mind. I don't know what really caused me to take less stock in the longer term time frame biases here, but it is something that you'll kind of notice with our next position. So I'm going to run back here. Trend is bearish. We see price breaks this level, breaks this low, sets a nice lower high here. Price comes down, so we enter our first sell position. We get wicked out here. However, it doesn't change anything. The trend is still bearish, especially in the higher time frames. We haven't broken this high, and we've broken this low. So even this is a lower high. See the trend on the 1 minute go bearish again, and we jump into this fantastic position. Now we close out here. I took 9% on this position, but you know it runs to 13. By the way, when I say I took 9%, it's because we entered the position twice. I took one off at 4% and one off at 5%, or 5 units. However you break your units up as well, we'll just call it the 9 risk to reward after taking this one here, after taking this little one here. So what can we see about this position? The trend's bearish and we took sells and it worked out fantastically. There wasn't a better way to do this. There was never a chance I was looking for buys here. This is kind of like my bread and butter of trading. The trend is bearish. We're looking for positions to sell from. We're looking for areas in the market which may potentially pose as levels of support and resistance. We're looking to trade alongside the institutions. Now, there is times where this will go bullish and it will run up and you'll maybe get a double pop and liquidity taken. However, the level that we have at the top here is very, very well respected. I'm not going to change the time frame because it's going to mess up where we are on the chart, but you can see that this level has been tested quite a few times and had quite a lot of strong reaction from that. What is the likelihood of price moving up here? We've got a bearish trend, we've got an incredibly strong level of resistance above, we've got institutional money pumping price down from here. This is obviously a sell day, and I would never ever consider taking the buy here. This is how I normally trade, you know, this is how I make good money most weeks. But for some reason this week I just didn't, as I said, I didn't look at that. So I'm going to show you one more day's trading. Now, this one was a little unfortunate. I didn't close my position out here, even though this is a 4 risk to reward trade. And the reason for that is I got a really, really bad fill on my position. It was like something like this. Maybe not that bad, but something like this. Okay, so I was trying to get a little bit more profit from here, and then price comes down and hits my break-even stop loss here, or slightly above break-even stop loss. So we still ended that position in a slight bit of profit. However, if all things were perfect and I actually got the fill that I wanted and I entered the market when I sent my market order, we would have taken the 4RR. Now, typically what I'll do is I'll assume that I've entered perfectly here. So I'll put my position market here, we'll run up here, and even though it won't be 4% because the spread and the fill wasn't great on the position, I'll still take the trade off here because this is the trade. The trade isn't X amount of money on the account. So even though we only maybe would have taken 3% here instead of 4, typically what I'll do is I'll close the position out anyway and just kind of mark it up like this as if I got the perfect fill. There's nothing we can do about spreads. There's nothing we can do about slippage. So I'll kind of analyze it and I'll kind of put the position in as if it was perfect. For some reason this week I decided to just go by what the actual spread was, and then I'm always like looking at target for risk reward ratio. We just didn't get it. Realistically, I should have closed the position here because it did run at 4 RR. I just didn't get the fill that I wanted, and because I use a position size EA, that means that it means that the position I think was at 2.5K rather than 4K, which is what I was kind of aiming for. A little bit unfortunate, but I should have taken it off. £2,500 profit is, it's fine. I shouldn't have got greedy with that one. But what you can notice here is I took a sell, which went to, I think I halved my stop loss here. So we took a small loss on the sell, but look at the trend. We're bullish again. Why am I looking at selling on the breaker structure here? Realistically, I think these trades did have some merit behind them, but I'm kind of was being too aggressive with my entries here. This is fine, taking the sell, and then looking for the buy out here, because we did get a breaker structure on the 1 minute. However, look at our higher time frames, right? All three of those days, we could have saved ourselves so much money and made so much more money if we just traded with, like, alongside the trend use as an example. So that's something that I'm going to take from this advanced self review. Execution was poor this week. I'll say it 100%. It could have definitely been better, but I've got too many circumstances right now which are kind of affecting that, and this isn't me trying to make excuses. This is more to say these are the weaknesses, these are the things I need to work on next week, and these are the notes that I'm going to take. I'm going to write a full, I've already written 2 pages of notes for my advanced self-review. I'm probably going to write a couple more, just a couple of things to take into Monday's trading session, to really focus on getting that exact precise entry. I did 26% a couple of weeks ago, which is obviously more than enough to pass a prop firm challenge. Once I'm back in my proper routine, I've got my house sorted, I've got my office sorted, I've got my desk all set up, I've got my computer all set up the way that I like. That's when we'll jump on with the challenge. So a couple of, in case you were kind of wondering why I posted that short saying we're going to do the prop firm challenge and then haven't posted anything about it from there, that's exactly why. Okay. So that content will still be coming, and I will still be, obviously trading and doing these kind of weekly rundowns of how I think my trading went. I think this is a fantastic one to get started on, or possibly the worst one to get started on if you've never seen me trade before, because this is not a great week. As an example, as I say, I did end up in a small loss this week, but even profitable traders do have losing weeks, and do have things that they're not 100% on. The other things outside of this that I can work on, nutrition could be better. Obviously, moving around a lot, people kind of eat out a lot more. There's not as much home cooking. I've just bought a load of stuff that I've meal prepped, so I can continue my fitness journey alongside this. I've had less time to go to the gym this week with moving and offices and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a knock-on effect of a lot of things. It's okay to have these weeks, but we're gonna try and avoid them as much as we can. So there's a couple of big takeaways that I need to work on that I've mentioned in this video, and a couple of future plans as well. So I'm not going to promise that we're going to do the prop firm challenge next week. The account's kind of just sitting there right now, and the reason for that is I want to really be on top form, and I want to see how I'm feeling next week going forward. I'm kind of set up where I can be set up right now, so things aren't 100% perfect, and it's not kind of representative of how I normally like to trade when I've got my own space. So there's a lot to kind of get in place before I want to fully commit to that, because I will be 100% open with it. Profit and loss statements, MetaTrader 4 statements, the whole shebang will be there. Once I get funded, you'll see everything basically, and we're just going to take it all from scratch day one. So that content is still coming. In the meantime, if you'd like to see any videos, drop a comment down below, drop a like if you don't mind. Feel free to share the video around. I know this is kind of like a little bit of a strange second video, if nobody knows me and doesn't know my trading stance and know how I like to trade, but hopefully as time goes on you'll kind of get to know me a little bit more, and you'll understand the methodology behind my trading, why I trade the way that I do. Alright, thank you all very much. If you enjoyed and you made it this far, please do leave a comment just saying hello. It's fantastic for the algorithm. I'd really appreciate a share or a like on the video, and I will see you all very soon, and we will get going with our challenge. Alright, thank you all very much.